Hi everyone, welcome to another video. So in this video we're going to see how to do state management in Flutter. So state management is a very debatable topic and there are various ways of doing it. But I think provider is the best way. It works the best for me. Uh, in this video we're going to see how to use provider, how to manage our state, and how to read and update data from that state. So yeah, let's get started. So before we do anything, let's just understand what is provider and how does it work with Flutter. So in this section, what we're going to do is I will discuss pretty basic steps of state management and how does provider go along with everything. So if you want to skip to the usage part, then you can skip this chapter. Okay, so I have drawn a very basic widget tree here, and this describes the basic hierarchy of our app. For example, in this widget one, we have a state which stores an integer and it has a value of 2. Let's assume this. And now you wanna pass down this state to widget 2, which is a child of widget 1. So you can do that by directly passing this from widget 1 to widget 2, and you can update or change the state however you like. So this works pretty well. But for example, you wanna share the state with siblings. For example, like widget 2 and widget 3, they are the siblings. And if you want to share the state, for example, there is a character, for example a, you want to share with this widget, then you have to define this widget in a define the state in the parent widget and then pass down this and here. So this goes way too complex. Even when we are discussing only three widgets here, just assume what will happen if we share a state from widget 1 and to widget 4 or widget 6. That would be way too complex, and passing down states from parent to child and child to sibling, it's not that easy. So what we do is we introduce provider. So, in this case, the provider acts as an independent entity which exists over the parent widget of your widget tree, which is material app in most cases. So, in this provider, we define all the states inside this box. So, earlier we discussed defining an integer and passing down to siblings and all. So, here what we do is we define the state here, and we can access this state from any widget. We don't have to pass it down or anything. We can access this from here, widget 4, widget 6, widget 5, no problem. And this is done in constant time, so this is pretty fast. So this solves our problem of passing down state and accessing it. Now on top of this, it provides us with various methods in which we can change the state and listen to the changes in any widget as we wish. So hope you understand the working. Now let's get to the usage. So we will start by adding this provider dependency in our perfect.yaml file. So I already have a package created over here, and I've added this dependency. Okay, so the next thing is we're gonna implement this provider. So since we have to focus on state management in provider, our starting point of this app will not be from scratch. I've already created a basic UI to get started. So what we have now is this home.dart file. So it comes from here. So this is our starting point of the app, and inside this we have a material app, and it just points to the home page. And this home page is created here in screens home.dart. So it doesn't have anything major, just a to-do header and input field and a button. So right now it doesn't do anything when we click on it. Okay, so now what we want to do is whenever we write something in here, for example, eat. So this is a to do, and when I click on add to do, it should be added over above the input field in kind of a list view. So to do that, we need to manage a state for all the to dos, and we need to modify that state whenever we add a to do, and it should be added into that initial state. So as we discussed here, in this diagram, that our provider will be an independent entity which will have all the state and all the methods to modify those state. So let's define this in our code. So what we'll do is inside this library, let's just create another folder and we'll call it providers. And inside this, create a new file, and you can name it anything. I will name it to provider.dart. Okay, so inside this we need to create a class. So here's our class, and our name is todo to-do provider, and to make this normal class into a provider, we need to do with change notifier. So what this will do is, like, we can notify this about this changes to our main file over here. So inside this, like, this is the very basic structure. So here we will have an array which will store our to-dos. So let's create an array and let's call it to-dos. Yeah. Alright, so now if we look at our use case, what do we need? We need the array of to-dos that we already created, and to display this, we need a getter to get all the to-do list. And one more thing, whenever we write something and click on add to-do, so there should be a method that adds the new to-do to this to-do list. So first of all, like, let me change this from var to a list of strings, and then we will create a getter. So this will be list string, let's call it get to dos, and this will return our to dos array. So yeah, and another thing that we talked about is this another method which will do the add to do operation, and this should take in a string, let's call it to do, and this will just simply to dos dot add. Okay, so now that we have our provider defined, what we need to do is we need to link this provider with our primary widget, that is the material app. So to do that, let's go to main.dart, and here we have, if you see the main method, we have our const my app as the top level widget of our tree. So we will wrap this widget with our multi provider. So what multi provider is, if you go to the documentation over here, with multi-provider you can, like, initiate your provider at the top level of our app so that you can use it anywhere throughout the project. So that's what we're going to do. So let's just wrap it with a widget, add our multi-provider over here, and this will take in an array, providers array. So let's initiate that, and also this will have a child, and this child will be our const my app that we had before. So basically we are just wrapping our my app with this multi provider so that it can use this use the providers that we define in this array throughout this app. All right, so inside this, we will define our provider. So to define that, if you see the documentation, like, this is how we define our normal provider. So we need a change notifier provider, and inside this we have a create method. So like, in this create method we will just um, pass our context as a parameter, and we will return our to do provider that we had. All right, so I think we have everything. Yeah, so we have created our instance of our provider over here. Now we can use it throughout the app, right? So now we go to home.dart, and to use this, there are a few methods provided uh, inside this package. So quickly I will tell you how some of them work. So let's just create a text widget over here, and here I will have a method called context.read, and inside this read we will provide a type, which will be our to-do provider, and if it gives you error, just import the provider package and it will go away. Okay, so and so now we have our context.read to-do provider, and this will give access to our provider over here. And now we can access our getter method. So if we do get to do's and dot length, and here we have to convert it to string because we are using it in a text. So yeah, if I save this and if I want to restart the app, make sure to restart because you have changed the top level of the program. So yeah, if you restart, it will show two. So, like, I've added like two members to our to do app for now for testing. So yeah, this is how you read data from your provider, context.read. So let's do what we set out to do. We need to, like, update the app so that our to-do list works as we expect. So let's just remove this for now, we don't need it. So yeah, so to display the list of, like, to-dos that we have, instead of this integer, we need to have a list view over here. So I will just create a list view quickly. Okay, so as you can see, I have created a simple list view, nothing much. I haven't added any provider related stuff yet. So what we have is we have a list view builder, and we have a string grab true so that it doesn't overflow. And for now, I have just given item count 1, and like in item builder, we are just returning a simple text widget, and this text widget just had this static string to do and a few styles, bold, italic, and the font size. So yeah, nothing major. So this is how it looks. So whenever we add something, it should get added to this list. So also I have just wrapped this with the padding widget and given a horizontal padding. I think it looks better. Alright, so now we have to make this dynamic. Instead of using static data, we have to use our data from the provider and make this list dynamic. So what we need to do is we need to access our to-do list, this list from our provider. So as I have shown you context.read, there is a similar method that we're going to use here, and it is called context.watch. And here we will provide our to-do provider, and like since there is this error, we'll just import this provider package and we will get the tools. All right, and we should also save this inside a local variable. All right, so now that we have our to-do list over here, we need to add this data to the list view. So then in item count, we will simply add to-dos dot length, and inside of the static data, so like we need this hyphen, sorry, this dash, whatever you say, and then the to-do, it looks better. So we'll do this, and here we will add to-dos dot, sorry, index. So we have our index which is given to us by our list view. So yeah, we will do this, and it will remove this const. Right, so if I save this uh, and refresh this, so as you can see, we have our two to dos, 1 and 2, since we have this 2 already defined in our provider. All right, so the first thing that we need, it works, we get our data from this provider and we display it in a list view. So if you have noticed that we haven't used context.read that we discussed earlier. Instead we're using context.watch. So what this does is, like whenever something changes over here and we notify uh, our widgets that are using this, then this context.watch will automatically update our to-do list. But in case of context.read, it won't do that. It will just like get the data for once and then it will forget. There's no listener over here. All right, so that's why we need context.watch. So the last thing that we need to do is whenever we have something in here and we click on add to do, what should happen is this provider should get updated. So let's do that. We have our add to do outline button over here. So inside this function, so we will do something similar over here, and we have to do context dot read. We already did this earlier, so you should know. And again, we'll provide our to do provider, and this time we will call, instead of get to do's, we will call our add to do method, and inside this we will provide the new text that we have. So how do we get the new text? Inside the text field we have our controller, so we can just get the text by controller dot text. Okay, so this will simply add the to do over here, and we'll have a to do in this new to do in this list, and this should update, right? Let me reset the app and let me show you. All right, so we have this text written in there, and if we click on add to do, like nothing happens, we don't have anything. And notice this, whenever I reload, like this hdfs, this new text comes over here. But like again, let me show you, like if I click on new and I click on add to do, like it does not show up over here. But like it is going inside our provider because to do's.add is being called, but it is not being shown over here, which means that our list view is not getting the updated data instantly. So if I click on hot reload right now, then it will show the new data, but like it should get it automatically, right? So we have another method called notify listeners. So whenever you change something, just call notify listeners at the end, so that if there are any listeners that are, for example, this listener we have, context.watch get to use, this will get updated. So let me save this and let's refresh it. All right, So I just did hot restart. All right, let's add a new to do. And if I click on add, you see this is getting added over here. So this is how you notify your consumers. So to notify, we need to call this notify listeners method. All right. So I think that wraps this up. You can add more things over here, like whenever we click on add to do, we should dismiss this uh, controller. For example, you click on add to do controller dot text. It should be reset, right? So you do two, and if you click on add, it will get added, and there we go. So yeah, this is how you use provider. Hope this helps. So if you like this video, please click the like button, and it really helps if you subscribe. So yeah, thank you.